Alright, so we're going to do something a little bit different today. I've been fooling around with doing a little block constructed to just kind of ease into constructed. It's a lot cheaper to do this than standard, especially when half the cards in standard are about to rotate out in two months or so, whatever it is. So as I'm new to constructed. I never really played it seriously before. So this is pretty much the simplest deck you can possibly have. It's just try and play out your guys and hit them as fast as possible before they start to do stuff. So we're running the full 12 1-drops, which does seem a little bit excessive, but it's what this deck does. So he's good. You can chain him off of, you can play him on turn 1, and then turn 2 if you do like Burning Tree Emissary to Burning Tree Emissary into Gorehouse Chainwalker or something. You know, you're hitting with a 4/1 that turn, so that's pretty good. Rakdos Cackler 2/2 for 1 standard. Well, standard when you get into constructed anyway. Obviously, not the case for regular limited stupidity. And this guy, I didn't realize how important he is to this deck at first. The not being able to be blocked by tokens is more important than you'd think, especially since generally what one of the worst matchups would be like a mid-range Selesnya deck, but when they can't block you, it's like fine, you'll hit them first. The first strike's pretty important, especially this is a pretty popular deck, so you end up with the mirror match, and then your guys are first strike and theirs aren't, so they can't really block you very well. And haste, of course, is good, and trample works sometimes. Sometimes you get some trample, especially we are running the full 4 Dyna charges, so you can, if you do it right, you can win on turn 3. Doesn't really happen that way, but. And then missing mortars is the main kind of removal. Don't really have good options, or super good options for removal in this if you just go straight red. But this is fine. It's 4 damage. It's enough to get rid of the Loxodon Smiter. Just a sorcery, but so it goes. Ash Sell it, first strike haste, yay. This guy's probably the most important card in the deck. Hopefully you can chain him to himself, or I guess it's a chick, right? Looks kind of like a chick. And then Fire Fist Striker is super important because it's a 2-drop and it acts as removal when you combine it with, you know, turn 1 Founding Citizen, turn 2 Emissary into Striker, or just turn 2 Striker and then follow up with Legion Loyalist. And if they get one guy there, they can't block. It's decent. Boros Reckoner is the only card in this deck that costs more than 2 tickets. He goes into a lot of different decks. He's pretty good in this one. Reason I'm running 3 instead of 4 is 19 lands. 19 lands is tough. Like you get stuck on 1 land sometimes. Sometimes you get stuck on 2 lands is generally fine. 3 lands can be a little bit tough, and he's not really good against control. He's good against any kind of well, he's not good against non-red control. Against red control, he's trying to control by dealing damage. He does some stuff. Otherwise, he's not that great against control. But like in the mirror match, he's super good. And yeah, and this is primarily just going to be kind of a lightning bolt, hopefully to their face to kill them, or you know, you can use it to take out a creature, especially once your guys get trample. So you can, you know, if they block with a I don't know, Centaur Healer on Ash Zealot, you can Royal Belt Maka on that, get rid of the healer, and hit them for 2, I guess. So I'm pretty new to this. I stole this from an online deck list, which let me pull up. So this is the deck list I stole from. This is the exact same main deck as this guy, Lister 1991. 1991. So I guess, no, he's 22 already. I tweaked the sideboard a little bit. I was never quite sure what to do with these Pyre Wild Shamans. I thought like you put them in against a control deck to give you a little bit more durability, but like it just costs too much mana to work them right. So there's pretty similar versions of that going around. This guy also had one. There's also versions that have either red or black, black or white as a side splash, and then they can run some somewhat better creatures. The problem with that is that to do that, they still wanted to run Boros Reckoner and Burning Tree Emissary. So the only lands that controlled they still ran 19 lands, which seemed crazy to me. And they ran 4 Guild Gates and 4 of the Shock lands, and then 11 mountains, which seemed to make the mana base pretty inconsistent. Like it was to get the Spike guy, 3/1 haste, costs red and black. Casting him consistently on turn 2, like I don't think you can super really do that. And if you can, like a lot of times it's costing you your 1-drop because you got to play the Guild Gate. So sideboard, I put in 2 Active Treasons. It's good if they got a little bit more mid-rangey. Like Trickery is kind of good in the mirror matchup. There's a lot of guys it kills. It kills Legion Loyalist. It kills Fire Fist Striker and Fountain Street Denizen. And a lot of times you're not going to unleash your guys in that mirror match because you start actually wanting to block them. And so then if they're not unleashed, you get a Cackler or a Gorehouse Chainwalker. I should have made this bigger for you guys, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about what Willis is talking about. Frostbin Weird is very good in the mirror match. Again, just a 1/4 guys is hard to deal with, especially since you're usually in the mirror match going to take out the Mizzy Mortars. At least I am, because it's kind of a little bit overkill. You can throw on Muggings and get pretty much the same effect for everyone except the Reckoner. And even when you Mizzy Mortars a Reckoner, it's not that great because then the Reckoner just does 4 damage to something. So, yeah. So this is like sweet for the mirror match. Toil and Trouble, this is my own particular thing. I don't know, this might not be good, but like I could hopefully, if I'm losing a matchup against a control deck and they've got a fistful of cards and then they tap out for like an Etherling and leave up 1 blue mana, they've got 6 cards in hand, I can hit them for 6, I guess. It's pretty good. There's a lack of good burn in mono red. So Skullcrack's also similar. You can try and cast that in response to a Sphinx's Revelation. So they lose they take 3 and don't gain whatever, 7 life. So gives you a chance, which is all you can hope for. This deck's a little bit inconsistent. It can be like super fast. Has no real way to come back from Supreme Verdict. But I don't know. I'm thinking like maybe even playing Frostburn Weird against Control. Probably won't do that, but you can do that. And just pump it on turn 3, hit them for 4, and then leave cards in your hand so that you can play them post Wrath and still hit them for a reasonable hit. That's probably not really a good plan, but I'm happy to have 3 of them in there because they're so good in the mirror matchup. So good. So that's that, and let's see how we do.